Somewhere in history, there was a first war. A first time one group of humans decided to attack another group. Not a fight between two guys, a planned attack, group against group. And for a long time, nobody knew when that started. Then researchers found something in Kenya. The remains of 27 people who died about 10,000 years ago. Men, women, and children, all killed at the same time. And what makes it important isn't just how old it is. It's who they were, because these people had nothing worth stealing. Which broke the main theory about how war started. So first, what was the theory? It's actually pretty sensible. People fight over things. That's the basic idea. So to have a war, you need things worth fighting over. And for most of human history, we didn't have much. Hunter-gatherers moved constantly, following food. If you're walking every few weeks, you can't carry much. You own what fits on your back. That's it. So there was no point attacking another group. They'd have the same nothing that you have. Then farming showed up, around 12,000 years ago. And farming changes everything, because you stop moving. You build houses, you store food, you claim a piece of land. Now there's something to steal, and something to defend. So the theory was, farming created property, and property created war. Which sounds right, until you look at Nataruk. Nataruk is a site in northern Kenya, west of Lake Turkana. Today, it's dry and dusty. Back then, it looked completely different. Researchers found the remains of 27 people there. At least 8 women and 6 children were among them. One of the women was pregnant. They dated the site to between about 9,500 and 10,500 years ago. And these were hunter-gatherers. That part is key. They hunted, they fished, they gathered plants. They didn't farm. They didn't have a permanent village. By the old theory, they shouldn't have been in a war at all. Now, an obvious question. How do we know this was a war? People die, accidents happen, 2 guys can fight. So here's what convinced the researchers. 3 things. First, some of them were killed from a distance. Stone points were found in bone and arrow wounds in the neck. That matters because arrows aren't a personal argument. You don't shoot someone from far away in a spontaneous fight. You do that when you're attacking a group. Second, some of the weapons were made of a stone called obsidian. Obsidian is volcanic glass, and it's rare in that area, which suggests the attackers didn't live there. They came from somewhere else, carrying their own weapons. That's not a neighborhood dispute. That's a raid. Third, and this one is the saddest. Nobody buried them. They were left lying where they died, at the edge of the water. Almost every human culture buries its dead. It's one of the oldest things we do. So if nobody buried them, it means nobody was left to do it. Or the survivors ran and never came back. Put those 3 together, and you get a clear picture. A group of outsiders came in, attacked, and wiped out a community. Which brings us back to the big question: why? If these people owned nothing, what was worth attacking them for? And the answer is, look at where they were living. 10,000 years ago, that spot wasn't dry. It sat right next to a lagoon. Fresh water, fish, plants, animals coming to drink. In a dry region, that's the best real estate for miles. And here's the thing people miss about property. You don't have to own something for it to be worth taking. A good place to live is valuable on its own. You don't need a farm, you don't need a fence. You just need a spot with water and food, in a place where those are rare. That's enough. That was always enough. Now, I want to be straight with you about what this does and doesn't prove. This is one site, one event, one day, 10,000 years ago. It proves that group attacks happened before farming. It does not prove that early humans were constantly at war. There's an older site in Sudan called Jebel Sahaba. It has 61 skeletons and lots of signs of violence. It might be even older. maybe 13,000 years. But that one's a cemetery, used over a long time. So it's harder to tell if it was one attack or many over many years. That's why Nataruk matters so much. It's a single moment, clearly dated, with the bodies left where they fell. It's the clearest picture we have of the oldest known war. So when did war start? At least 10,000 years ago, before farms, before villages, before anyone owned a piece of land. It turns out war never needed cities or property. It only needed two things: something worth taking, and a group willing to take it. Those 27 people were living in the best spot around. That was the whole reason. That was enough. And nobody came back to bury them. They stayed there for 10,000 years, until someone finally found them. If you like the stuff nobody explains properly, you're in the right place. Subscribe. We do this every week.